song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song.
This is my story. Today I'm going to talk about ministry to refugees. In Indonesia, in the year or so after we arrived, there was a major economic crisis in Jakarta, and that was followed by looting and violence in the city, and that was followed by a jihad, or an attack on East Indonesia. War was declared, and the jihad began in Sulawesi, in the area of Poso, and in the Maluku Islands. At that time, many villages were burnt down. There were churches, over 1,000 churches throughout Indonesia were burnt down, and that included the Pentecostal church in Poso, where we had lived in 1975 and which we had visited the whole time we were in central Sulawesi until 1982. And our old home that we'd lived in 1975 was also burnt down in the rioting. Because of that, we were greatly impacted by what was happening. And many of the refugees fled to Manado, a Christian city in North Sulawesi, and there were large refugee camps, thousands upon thousands of refugees from the Maluku Islands, from Poso. And so we began to travel up there. I remember one time Jeff took me the first time to a refugee camp, and I think I was holding one of the babies, and Jeff turned his camera to me and said, "Now, Annette, give me a woman's view of what's happening here." And I just burst into tears. I hadn't realised how much it had affected me to see the suffering of all those refugees in the camp. We also had with us at that time our daughter Ruth, and she was also involved with us, travelling into dangerous areas of central Sulawesi and visiting the camps in North Sulawesi, and it was a very, very emotional, in some ways traumatic and difficult time. Because we saw the need was so great, Jeff formed an organisation called Yayasan Berkati Indonesia, YBI, or Bless Indonesia Today, and many Indonesians joined with us, and people from around the world came to help us, from Alaska, from Australia, from America, from Europe, and we got involved in visiting the refugees, supplying food and clothing and Bibles and glasses and all sorts of things that they needed. We particularly got involved with two villages that had really suffered. One was Duma in North Halmahera, where the whole of the village was burned down, and a huge church they had was burned down, and in one day 213 people were killed in the church, and they experienced so much suffering. And so we were able to work with that village until it was rebuilt, church rebuilt, their houses. And the other village that we worked with was the village of Lata Lata. This was a group of people on a little island who were, their pastor was killed, the elders of the church were killed. There were many, 80 or so of the people in the village were killed, and they were all forced to convert and held captive for 18 months. But we were able to work with that village and bring them to North Sulawesi, build them a new village, give them a new life, and now they have become believers in Jesus Christ, and their lives have been restored. And we just thank God for the opportunity that He opened up for us to work with the suffering people during that time.
Praising my Savior all the day long.